What up, paper chasers? It's your girl Loud Pen with this week's Buzzkill of the Week, which is people's perceptions of you. Basically, the reason that this week's Buzzkill of the Week came out from yesterday's Say What? Quote of the Week, which was the song What We Talking About by Jay-Z. So basically, shout out to MD. Basically, she came up with a really great, insightful comment from yesterday's post. And basically, she just talked about how the Blueprint 3 was basically an album where Jay-Z was kind of speaking directly to his haters, his critics, his fans, basically, also too. You know what I mean? It was a very personal album, him addressing specific things that have been happening and going on or whatever, and talking about, you know, what he's been trying to do and what has been being said about him. And I just thought that was really important. So basically, thinking to myself today about what I was going to post for this week's Buzzkill of the Week, it just got me thinking about how you as an artist, you try to put something out there, and then the way people perceive it ends up being not only totally different, but seemingly to also be negative. It seems like the problem is that people don't want you to be great, in my opinion. People don't want you to do something different. They don't want you to do something outside the box. As much as people claim to want something new and want something different, they really don't. They seem to only want to stay, because if they wanted something new, if they wanted something different, they wouldn't try to put you into this box. They wouldn't try to perceive you as they want to perceive you, instead of trying to perceive you as what you were trying to come across as. You know, for instance, like with Jay, you know what I'm saying? He has two main different types of critics, I feel like. He has the critics that feel like all his music is just misogynistic and violent. Those are the intellectual types. And then he also has the people that just genuinely are kind of ignorant, I feel, and don't really get his music. So therefore, they judge him from that standpoint. Basically, just a quick couple of things about the intellectuals. The intellectuals, you know, they say that Jay-Z is misogynistic and violent. They say that his music is this, that, and the third. But they don't understand that that's the environment that he comes from, number one. They don't understand that society perpetuates that. I don't feel like in every aspect, you know, you have movies like The Dark Knight, you have movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just movies that perpetuate violence and blood and gore and death and things like that. You know what I mean? Our society perpetuates that on every level as far as violence. As far as misogyny, you know, women getting paid less in the workforce, you know. I know when I was interviewing for jobs last year, you know, me and my dad were having a conversation about what I was going to wear in the interviews, and I decided to, for the most part, wear skirt suits because I wasn't sure how people were going to perceive me as a female coming to an interview in a pantsuit. And that's crazy because in 2009 you wouldn't necessarily think that, you know what I mean? So just there's that part or whatever. So as far as the misogyny, him using the word bitch, him using the word hoe, him using the N-word, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy because people don't want him to use those words, but they're constantly perpetuated in our society and other forms and fashion. You know, you go on open up any magazine, get on internet website, you know, there's going to be some kind of picture or photograph of a woman in a sexual pose, you know what I mean, doing something where she looks more sexy and looks more sexual, you know what I mean, but you say that that is an advertisement instead of saying she looks like a hoe, you know what I mean, because the word hoe is bad, you know what I mean. So we're not supposed to call women hoes, but we can treat them like hoes, you know what I mean. We're not supposed to call women bitches, but we can treat them like bitches, you know what I mean. It's crazy to me how society perpetuates those ideas, but yet when Jay-Z says it in his music, we talked about his music, he's perceived then as this just horrible person, this just misogynistic, violent rapper. That's crazy to me, because what he's really trying to do is just talk about his life story, and that's what his life story was full of. It was full of misogyny, it was full of violence, and that's what he talks about in his music. If you don't want misogyny or violence, take it out of society. Then you'll take it out of the music. As far as Beyonce, people perceive her to be fake and unintelligent. I don't feel like she's fake because, I mean, like, how many black females, how many women in general have worn a weave a few times in their life? How many times have you put in a fake contact? How many times have you put on a fake eyelash? So I don't understand why, because Beyonce wears these things on the regular, that you would probably say, why is Beyonce not wearing her weave if you ever saw her without her weave? You know what I mean? Why do you say that she's fake because of those things? I don't really understand that or whatever. I don't really get it. Like, I don't understand how, especially if you're a black female, how you can really sit there and say that you've never put a track in your head, that you've never gotten cornrows and gotten some weave, you know, that you've never put on a fake eyelash, you know, it's like we've all done those things. So are we all fake, or are you really just trying to, make Beyonce to be the bad guy to make yourself feel better? Are you just trying to perceive her as you would like to perceive her instead of, you know, as a great singer and artist? As far as her intelligence goes, you know, I know I just had a conversation, shout out to Kim, because I know me and her, we always go back and forth, but I know she had made a statement the other day talking about how she doesn't feel like Beyonce's that smart or whatever, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that Beyonce is, you know, could have gotten a 1600 on the SATs. I don't necessarily think that she could have been a Harvard graduate, but that does not take away from me being a Sasha Fierce support representative. Basically, I feel like Beyonce does have intelligence. There is absolutely, positively, in my opinion, no way that she could get up there and sing and perform the way that she does without some intelligence, you know what I mean? Like, to be able to memorize all the lyrics to her songs, to be able to get up there and do all those different dance moves and be on point and be on beat the way that she is, like, she has to be intelligent. She has to have intelligence. But the intelligence that I don't necessarily think that Beyonce has, no, I don't necessarily think that she has. I know she doesn't have the biggest vocabulary. I'm very aware of that. But I don't think that Beyonce needs or should even get a bigger vocabulary, you know what I'm saying? Because then she would just be even more hated on, because then not only would she be this amazing singer performer, but then she would also be this amazingly intelligent person, and people would really just hate her, because then she would just be this huge threat to everyone. Not only would she be beautiful, not only would she be rich, not only would she be talented, but then she got to be smart too. So I think that when people say things about her, you know, and I don't think, you know, Kim, if you're watching this video, I don't think that this is you necessarily saying I'm going off on a separate tangent, but I don't necessarily think that, you know, she needs all of those things, because I think she's already great at who she is and what she does, you know what I'm saying? So I think that if you're saying like, oh, she needs to get a bigger vocabulary, I think you're really just trying to perceive Beyonce as what you want to perceive her as. I think that you're just trying to you're trying to find something wrong with her, and I think that's a lot of things wrong sometimes when people try to perceive you as separately than what you really are. I think you're trying to find something wrong with her. I think she's so good at so many things that you're trying to find her one weakness, her one fault, you know what I mean, which is her vocabulary, which is, you know, maybe she's not as necessarily as well read as she could be, you know, maybe that's what you're trying to do. So just, you know, that's that perception. Moving on into Tyra Banks, basically the thing about Tyra Banks, just real quickly, I just had to vent about, like, I feel like people really just unnecessarily crucified Tyra for doing something that I felt was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? The Real Hair Day thing from last week, y'all know what I'm talking about. The Real Hair Day thing from last week was hot. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I mean? I am a natural haired woman who loves my natural hair. I'll never, ever go back to getting a perm. But at the same time, I respect Tyra regardless of the fact she still has a regardless of the fact that she still wears weave, because the important thing to me is the fact that she addressed the fact that a lot of black women in Hollywood do in fact, black women in general, do in fact wear weave, and do in fact sometimes feel very insecure without their weave, and to encourage them to have a day where they only wear their real hair, to me was hot. Even if it was just for marketing, even if it was just for ratings for her show, even if she never ever comes out ever again with her real hair, the fact that she opened up the box, opened up the conversation, to me was amazing. So yeah, that was what I wanted to say. So I basically feel like, you know, with people, what they tried to do with her was they basically try to perceive her as what they wanted to perceive Tyra as. They wanted her to just come out and be like, natural hair, black people rule. You know what I mean? They just wanted her to just do something that was unrealistic, that didn't really even work. You know what I'm saying? She opened up the conversation. That's what's important. So maybe basically the whole purpose of this post was, sorry I didn't really get to talk about myself and people's perception of me, but basically the whole purpose of this post was to just say, you know, people's perceptions of you can be a buzzkill because people are never going to see you as you want them to. The Pen